Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, today's lesson we will complete the previous topic, which about the stems, and today we're going further to talk about the types of stems and the stems modification. Okay, as you see in these pictures, and also as you see in the nature around you, you can observe there is several shapes and types for plants and trees, and they contain or they have several types of stems. So now in this topic we are going to identify these different shapes of stems and to study them and to know the types of each one and to identify them and to study the modifications of each them or each one of them. Okay, as you see, there is many shapes of stems. This one, it's under the ground, and this one is also under the ground, but it's also a stem. And this one, we're scale leaves, and it has a green color, and it has a cylindrical shape. And also for the strawberry, the stem of the plant of the strawberry plant is laying over the ground, so that inspire us to know that there is different shapes for stems and also different modifications of these stems. Okay, as to texture, plant stem or plant stems are classified as herbaceous stems. This you can observe them in the herbs. The herbs have herbaceous stems. Also in tulip, marigold plant, and also in strawberry. This type of stem characterized by it has no permanent woody tissue, so it the lifespan of this stem is short, and it die soon after flowering. So this type of stem is called herbaceous stems. Okay, you can see it in the herbs and also in tulip, marigold, and strawberry. The other one is suffragant stems. This type of stem, suffragant stems, as in eggplant and jute. This type of stems have two types of tissues. At the base of the stem there is a woody tissues, and another part of the stem is a herbaceous. So this type of stem have two types of tissues. It has a woody at the base of the stem, woody tissue, and at another part of the stem it has a herbaceous stem. You can find it in the eggplant and jute. separate scent stems. The third one is woody stems. This woody stems is you can find it in the trees. The all woody plant like trees and shrubs. They all have a woody stems. You must know the difference between the trees and shrubs. Okay, shrubs and trees. You must know the difference between both of them. The trees is higher than shrubs, about 6 meters the length, or over 6 meters the length of the plant, and the shrubs, the length of these shrubs is less than 6 meters. And also there is another differences, like you can observe the branches. At the shrubs you can observe the branches and at the ground level. So the branches are rising from the plant. At the shrubs situation, you can observe the branches arises from the plant near the ground level. But at the tree situation, you can see the tall stem, it's called trunk, and then there is a branches. So this part called crown on the trees. But on the shrubs there is no crown, just the branches arises at the ground level, as you see in this. Okay, so the woody stems, you can find it at the shrubs and also in the trees. Okay, it form permanent woody tissue which persists indefinitely. So the short, or we can say the lifespan of this tissue is permanent, not like the herbaceous stems. Herbaceous stems had short lifespan, but the woody stem, it's permanent, okay, and has long lifespan. The woody portion of the stem is made of secondary xylem. Okay, these are 3 types of the stems according to the texture of the stem: herbaceous stems, suffragant stems, and woody stems. Here you can see them all. This is the type of the herbaceous stems, and this is the woody stems. This is a tree, and here also it's a woody stem. It's a plant of mint, had a woody stem, and also the strawberry and the tulip have a woody stem. And this one below, it's the eggplant stem, which is suffragant stem. And we said this stem, or this type of stem, have two types of tissues. At the base of the stem you can see the woody tissue, and another part of the stem are herbaceous. For example of this is eggplant. Okay, as to direction, of the stems. Plant stems are classified into erect. You can say this stem is erect when it's grow vertically upward. Okay, when it's grow vertically upward, we can say this one is erect stem. And ascending stem when rising obliquely or in slanting direction. This one like the ground, and this is the stem, and the stem is growing obliquely, not upward direction. No, it's grows obliquely, so it's ascending. Decumbent stem when this stem is reclining on the ground completely or near the base, like this one. This one is decumbent. So these are the three types of the stems according to direction of the stem. This one is erect when it's grow upward direction, and this one is ascending when it's grow obliquely, and this one when it's reclining on the ground or near the base. Okay, it's clear here in the pictures. This is the erect stem. Okay, and also ascending, it's growing obliquely, and the decumbent, it's reclining or reclining on the ground. It can reclining on the ground or near the base, as in this picture. It's reclining near the base. It's near to laying on the floor, but it's not laying on the floor, or it's not flatting on the floor. It's just near the base of the stem is reclining. Okay, it's decumbent. Also we have prostrate. Prostrate when laying flat on the ground. Laying flat on the ground. And also we have creeping stem when growing flat on the ground and rooting on the nodes. Oh, see this type of stem? The creeping stem have root on the nodes. So it's laying or flat on the ground. So when it's flat or laying flat on the ground, we can say it's prostrate stem. And if there is a node, or if there is a root at the nodes, we can say it's creeping. Climbing or scandent when rising by a clinging to other objects by means of tendrils, rootlets, or other specialized organs. So this type of stems is weak stem. It needs to support by the another parts of the plant, like tendrils, like modified leaves, modified roots, to help her or to help it to clinging to other objects. So this one is called climbing stem or scandent. If it doesn't clinging or on the other objects, it's called scandent. Twining, when rising by coiling around other stems or objects. This type of stem is coiling around the other stems or objects. So we have prostrate, climbing, and twining. See them in the pictures. Like this one is prostrate. It's laying flat on the floor. It's laying flat on the floor, called it prostrate. And if there is if there is a rooting at the nodes of this plant, we can say this type of stem is creeping. Okay, but if not, we call it prostrate. So it's laying flat on the floor. Another type is twining stem, like this picture in the middle. This is the object, or we can say the support. Can be another stem of another plant or any object. So the stem of the plant, because it's so weak, so it's supported by, or it's need to support it by this object. So the plant or the stem clinging or twining around the object. It can twining by the stem, or it can use the tendrils or the rootlets. If it twining by itself or by the stem, it's called twining stem, like this situation at the picture. And if it needs to tendrils, stem tendrils, and the leaflet or the leaf modification, like the leaf tendrils and leaf hooks, to help him to, or to help the plant to climbing, it's called a climbing stem. If it need tendrils to climb, and also leaf hooks, and also the leaf tendrils, it will be called climbing stem. Here in the picture we can see the specialized organs which they can help the plant to climbing up on the objects. Here it's a twining stem, as I said to you, and here we can see this part of the plant which is twining on the object. It's a petiole. This one, it's get modified to support the plant to climbing on the objects. So it's twining petiole. This is one of the specialized organs can help the plant to climbing up. And also here, this is the tendrils of the stem. There is differences between the leaf tendrils and the stem tendrils. You know this, the leaf tendrils, because you know the leaf can get modified to to be tendrils, so it's called leaf tendrils, like this one, the picture on your right hand. This one, it's leaf tendrils. These tendrils, on the normal situation, it should be a leaf, but it's get modified to help the plant to climbing up, so it modified to tendrils. But where at this picture also, this one you can see, I want to show you one clear. This one, it's a tendril from stem. Here in this situation, the stem is get modified to develop a tendrils, also to support plant in climbing up. Okay, here in your left hand in this picture also, this is a stem tendrils, and this is the leaf tendrils. So how we differentiate between them? As the leaf tendrils, you can see the leaf, the position of the leaf, on the position of the leaf, which must be arises from this position, you can see the tendril instead of leaf. But in situation of stem tendrils, you can see the tendril arises from the axillary bud. So as you know, the axillary bud can be developed for branches, right? So if the plant need to climbing up or need support, the axillary bud is modified or it developed to be tendril to help the plant. So the position of the tendril, from the position of the tendril, you can distinguish between, or you can know if it's a stem tendril or leaf tendril. Okay. Okay, now we know the classifications of the stems according to texture and also according to direction of the stem. But generally, the stems are aerial and grow above the soil surface. It is for the normal situation. The stems are aerial and grow above the soil surface. But in some cases, you can observe some plants have no stems all over the ground. You can observe there is some plants have no stems over the soil. So this case, or in this situation, this part or these types of plants called aqualiscent plant, or stemless, because they have no stem over the soil. And also this part also, or this type also, in this type you can see that the plant have no stem. This, by the way, this one is not a stem. This is the stalk of the flower. The stalk of the flower. So also this type of plant called aqualiscent or stemless. So the plant with no obvious stem above the ground but bear only leaves and flowers. Stalks just have leaves and flowers. Stalks. This type of plant called stemless or aqualescent plant. Also, this one is aqualescent plant. Okay, or can say stemless plant. There's also another situation of the stems. You can observe the corn plant in this picture. If you see it, or if you take a cross section to see the middle or to see the inside structures of this stem of the corn, or even any plant belong to the family Poaceae, you can see there is a hollow in the middle, like this one. There's a hollow inside this stem, so this one called culm. This type of stems called culm. And another characteristic for this type of stem, it has a pronounced solid notes. Solid notes or pronounced solid notes. So this type of stem called culm. Okay. Example for these two types are in the corn and also in the bamboo plant. Okay. All the plant on the family Poaceae have this type of culm stem. Has two characteristics. One of them is a hollow, and the pronounced solid notes. Okay, the notes are solid and pronounced, as you see at the bamboo and also at the corn plant. Okay, now we're going to study the stem modification. Okay, the stem modifications are grouped for three head groups. Okay, one of them is, or number one is underground modification, and number two is subaerial modification, number three is aerial modification. Okay, underground stem modification. The plant that produce underground modifications of stem utilize it for what? For storage of food. Okay, so the plant produce underground modification of stem, utilize it for storage of food. These look like roots, right? Because it's under the ground, so it can look like the roots, but can be distinguished with the following characteristics. These three characteristics are for the underground stems. Nodes and internodes are observed. You can find the nodes and internodes where on the underground stems, because they are stems and the stem contain node and internode. Also, this is the presence of scale leaves. You can also find scale leaves and buds, and also adventitious roots, and in addition to nodes. The third one is the internal structure resembles an aerial stem. The internal structure for this type of underground stems, it resembles of an aerial stems and not of the root. Okay, so through these three characteristics you can distinguish between the underground stems modification and also the root. Below are some types of underground modifications of stems. Number 1, rhizome. It's non-green fleshy underground stem. Non-green. It's important to focus on this description of each type, because through this description you can distinguish between the several types. Okay, so the rhizome is non-green and is fleshy underground stem with nodes and internodes. The nodes have dry scale leaves with axillary buds. At the nodes you can at the nodes there is a dry scale leaves with axillary bud. Terminal buds can also be seen. Adventitious roots arise from the lower side of the rhizome. So there is also adventitious root, and it arises from the lower side of the rhizome. The rhizome stem that grows obliquely is called a rootstock rhizome, and when they grow horizontally, they are known as straggling rhizomes. When it grows, or when it grows horizontally, it's called straggling rhizome. Example for this one is the ginger. It's familiar to you. The ginger is a rhizome, and it's a straggling rhizome because it's grow horizontally. Like this one in the picture, it is a ginger. It's a rhizome. You can observe the nodes and the buds, the scale leaves. If you have a ginger at your home, you can take one and try to examine all these parts. Nodes and buds, scale leaves and internodes, adventitious roots. Okay, from the bud, the new plant can born. Okay, because this rhizome containing food. So through this bud, it can born, or the new plant can develop. It's ready to born a new plant because it has the buds and nodes and adventitious roots. Okay, and also it has a food inside the rhizome. So this one is ginger as example for rhizome. The second one is bulb modification. The bulb is also familiar to you because we use it usually at your home or at our homes. This type is modified stem looks like a highly condensed discoid stem. It looks like a highly condensed discoid stem. This is the description. Also, the upper surface has a terminal bud, and there are many fleshy scale leaves present. So all the fleshy scale leaves, they range around the terminal bud. Oh no, I'm sorry, I confused this. The upper surface has a terminal bud, and also there are many fleshy scale leaves present. And these fleshy scale leaves, they arrange around the axillary bud, not around the terminal bud. The terminal bud is located at the upper surface of the bulb. Okay, at the base of the bulb, there are many adventitious roots present. These bulbs can be scaly or tunicate. Okay, I think if you have onion at your home, go to take it and try to observe the structures which I described to identify them all. So the bulb can be scaly or tunicate. Tunicate bulb at the onion will be covered by sheaths of dry membranous scale leaves, like onions and also the garlic, which is called a tonic because it covered by a sheath of dry membranous scale leaves. This membranous called tonic, and the bulb of this situation called tonicate bulb. Okay, in the case of scaly bulbs, there will be no tonic present. Example of tonicate bulbs: onions and garlic. This is the tonic, which is the dry membranous. It's covered the scaly leaves inside. So this one is tonic, and this type of bulbs called tonicate bulb. When we take a cross section for the bulb, we can observe the fleshy leaves, these fleshy leaves, and here there is a bud, which is axillary bud, and there is a stem. All this is a stem, but it's modified. This part is modified to be a bulb. Okay, and there is a adventitious root at the base of the bulb, and upper side there is a terminal bud to give a new plant. Okay, this is the onion bulb, and as I said to you, it's a tonicate because there is a dry membranous covers the fleshy leaves. But if the bulb without dry membranous cover the fleshy leaves, it's called a scaly bulb, like this one. This is a scaly bulb. Lilium candidum. Lilium candidum. This is a plant with a scaly bulb. So these are the fleshy leaves, and there is no a dry membranous cover these fleshy or these scale leaves. So it's called scaly bulbs. Also, it's important to know the examples of the plants which I give you to identify each type of the stems or even any part of the plant. Number 3 is corm. This is a condensed rhizome that grows in a vertical direction. It grows in vertical direction under the ground, and it's condensed rhizome. It has a flattened base and is more or less spherical in shape. It has more or less, or the shape of this, in the other word, the shape of the corm, it's like a spherical shape or like a circle. It's near to circle shape. It has distinct circular nodes and internodes. The nodes have scale leaves and axillary buds. The nodes have scale leaves and axillary buds, and the adventitious roots are seen at the base or all over the body area. So the adventitious root, not just at the base of the corm, it can be all over the body area. Example of a corm is Clocasia plant. This is a corm of Clocasia plant. There is a scale leaves, and also adventitious roots all around or at the base of the corm. And also you can see the nodes and internodes. So as you know, the internodes is the space between two nodes, and also there is a scale leaves. As you see in the picture, there is new corms born at the base. These are the daughter corm. Or at the base of the corm. So you can cut this, and you can cut any part of this daughter corm to plant it to give a new plant, because it has adventitious roots and has nodes and internodes, and also it has storage food inside, so it can give a new plant. Tuber. Also, the tuber is familiar to you because it's almost in our houses. It's a potato. Or example for this is potato. It's a swollen tip of an underground lateral stem and is covered by scale leaves. The skin has several depressions which are known as eyes. If you take a potato and try to observe this eyes, it's a depressions. It's spread all over the potato, or all over the body of the tuber. Each eye is a node and bears one or more subtended by a leaf scare. So each eye is a node. A big scar or a big scare at one end at the tuber or at the potato. You can observe in one side, you can say a big scare. This known as the heels end of potato marks its attachment to a stolon. So this scare at the one side of the potato, it's a marks of it's a scar to attachment to the stolon, to a stolon, or to a stem. Okay. Adventitious roots are generally absent in tubers. So in the tuber there is no adventitious root appears. Okay. But it has eyes. Each eye is node and bears one or more subtended by leaf scare, and it will be clear if you see the picture. These eyes, these depressions called eyes, they spread all over the potato body. So you can see the lateral bud in the eyes, and also there's a lenticels. As you know, the lenticels is a pores to gas exchange, to allow the gas exchange. So you can see the lenticels and eyes, and also scale leaves on the potato, and the stem end. Okay, so from these lateral buds on the eyes can give a shoot for a new plant. And also you can observe the heel. It's a big scare. So the heels of the tuber, it marks as the attachment to a stolon. Okay, like this one of this plant is a potato tubers, and when we cut off the potato from the stem or the stolon, it will leave a mark. This mark, which I talk about, it's called heels. Okay, it's from attachment to the stolon, but there is no adventitious roots in the tuber. Okay, there is no adventitious root. These the four types of the underground stem modification: the bulb, and the corm, the rhizome, and tuber. I hope it's all clear to you. Now there is another group for the stem modification, which is the subaerial modification. The subaerial modification. These types of stems or modified stems are partially aerial and partially underground. So from that, it's called subaerial modification. It's not aerial completely, but it's partially aerial and partially underground. Their general characteristics are: they have short aerial branches. They have short aerial branches. The node of the stem can grow into a fully developed plant. So from the node of the stem, we can get a fully developed plant. Their subaerial stem modifications are meant for vegetative propagation, because it can give another plant or another new plant. So It means for vegetative propagation. The plants are known, the plants in this situation are known as creepers. So this type of stems of creepers is laying flat on the floor, and it has roots in the nodes, or it can develop a root at the nodes of the stem to give a new plant. So it's known as creepers. There are types of subaerial stems. Number 1, runner. It's subaerial stem. So it has short aerial branches, as in the picture. They are short aerial branches. Okay, it's creeper. So it's laying flat on the floor, and it has a root at the nodes of the stem. So this or runners are a type of creeping stem with long internodes. So it have long internode. The space between two nodes is long. They run horizontally on the soil surface, over the soil surface. They run horizontally and bear scale. This type of stem rises from an axillary bud. Okay. A mother plant often produces several runnels in all directions. Then they break off and grow into a new plant. Example for this in the grasses. Okay, the grasses stem is runner. So you can break off at the node and to give a new plant, because it has adventitious roots, it has nodes and internodes. It's ready to give a new plant. This is called this type called runner. It's creeping stem with these above characteristics. You can find them in the grasses like this one. Okay, there is this node. Is the runner stem. So if we said this is a mother plant, so the stem is grow horizontally on the ground or over the soil, horizontally in horizontal direction, and there is a scale leaves, and there is axillary buds and terminal buds. Okay, fibrous adventitious roots, so it can break off and give another new plant. It's called runner. The sucker stems rise from the basal underground part of the main stem. The basal underground part of the main stem, or on the mother plant stem, at the basal underground part. So the sucker arises. They grow horizontally because they are creepers, so all of them grow horizontally for a distance below the soil. This situation is different than the runner, because the runner grow horizontally over the soil, but the sucker grow horizontally for a distance below the soil, and then grow upward obliquely. Then it arises over the ground. Okay, it grows horizontally for a distance below the soil, for a distance, and then grow upward obliquely, like the picture below. The stem develops a leafy shoot and adventitious roots before separating from the mother plant. Example, mint. It's mint or mint. The mint, the plant of mint called mint. Okay, so the mints also have a sucker stem. This is this picture below. This white part, it grows under the ground horizontally for a distance, and then arise or grow obliquely upward, and before it's separating from the mother plant, the stem develops a leafy shoot and adventitious roots. Okay, and then separate from the mother plant. Stolon. It's a weak lateral stem that rises from the main stem base. Also, it rises from the main stem base. After growing aerially for a while, it bends downwards to touch the ground. Here, its terminal bud produces a new shoot and adventitious roots. Example for this, like strawberry. It's growing aerially. Let us to draw it. If you imagine, this is the ground surface. Okay, this is the plant, the mother plant. So this type of stem is a weak lateral stem. So this stem arises from the main base stem, and after it's growing aerially for a while, it bends to downwards to touch the ground. Okay, at this point, when it touches the ground, the terminal bud produce adventitious roots under the ground and a new shoot. Okay, and then also there is another one, stolon, will rises at the base of the main stem and grow for aerially for a while, and then bends to downwards to touch the ground, and also the lateral or terminal bud will produce the adventitious roots and the new shoot and etc. Okay, this type of stolon, or this type of subaerial stem called, or we can find it in the strawberry plant. Okay, like this at the picture, it's a stolon. It grows aerially a while and then bends to touch the floor, and then produces the adventitious roots and the new shoot. Okay, you can see this type or you can see the stolon on the plant of strawberry. Offset. This is a short runner with long internode. Short runner with long internode. It develops from a leaf axil and then grows as a short horizontal branch and produce a rosette of leaves above the adventitious roots below. If you don't know the rosette, it's a leaves, but they arrange on a circle shape. They look like a flower, or they look like a petals of a flower. So they called rosette. Okay. So let us to say it again. The offset is the short runner with long internode. Okay, it develops from a leaf axil, the leaf axil, or from the axillary bud, and then grows as a short horizontal branch and produce a rosette of leaves above and then adventitious roots below. This type of stem modification is generally observed in aquatic plants like Piscetia. Okay, you can see this type on the aqua plants like Piscetia. Okay, so the offset stem or the offset modification stem arises as short branches, horizontal branches, and it develops from the leaf axil and then give rosette, which are leaves arranged like a flower or like in circle shape. They arrange in circle shape like petals of a flower. Okay, they called rosette, and then produces also adventitious root below. So this type of stem is called offset stem. It's famous or you can find it in the aqua plants. Okay. Twining stems. Stems that twines in order to climbing. Example, loofah. It's very simple and easy to identify it because it's just twining around the objects. It can be any object, or it can be another stem of another plant. So it's called twining stem. Now the aerial stem modification. The aerial stem modifications have special functions such as protection the plant, food storage and vegetative propagation, and also climbing. There are types of aerial stem modification which are described below. Number 1, stem tendrils. Okay, I think now you know the stem tendrils well, so they can go to the picture to see them. The stem tendrils, as I said to you, you can distinguish between the stem tendrils and leaf tendrils from the position of the tendril. It's a thread-like, green thread-like structure, and it helps the plant to climbing up. So it supports the plant which have a weak stem. Okay, so we have a leaf tendril and also we have stem tendril. The leaf tendril, it rises from the position of the leaf at the normal situation. As this picture you can see, this is the leaves arranged on the stem or on the stalk, and these two tendrils should be a leaves, but they get modified to tendrils. But in this type of plant, the tendril is arise from the axillary bud. So it's arises from branches. As I said to you, axillary bud is developed to, or it can develop to, branches for the plant. But if the plant does not need more branches, the axillary bud can get modified to tendrils to help the plant to climbing up. So this is a stem tendril because it arises from the axillary bud, but this one is a leaf tendril, and both of them are helping the plant to climbing up. Okay, here also it's clear, it arises from axillary bud. So this tendril or the stem tendril can be branched or unbranched. This one is unbranched, but the picture below, it's a branched tendril. Okay, and it's leafless, so the tendrils have no leaves. Okay, it has no leaves, but it can be branched like this or unbranched. Swords. These are pointed, hard or woody structures, and sometimes bear leaves and flowers. The thorns. They can also be branched. The thorns also can be branched, and it can bear the leaves and flowers. In plants like citrus or the lemon plant, thorns are modified axillary bud. It's the thorns on the citrus plant is modified axillary buds. Thorns are used for defense or climbing. They also regulate respiration because they reduce the losing of water from the plant, so they regulate respiration. This is the thorns. I know I talked to you before about the modified leaves to spines, right? Now we are talking about the modified stem to thorns. So there is a difference also between them, the spines and thorns. Also it depends on the position of growing of each one. The spine is a modified leaf, like in cactus. Okay, so the spine is a modified leaf. So the position of the spine, you can see the position of the spine at the position of the leaf, like this one in the picture. This one, your right hand, this one is a spine because it's rise in the, or it's rising on the position of the leaf. But the thorn is rising from the axillary bud because it's a stem modification. Okay, so it's rising from the axillary bud on the plant. And the thorn also can bear leaves and also can bear flowers, like this one at your right hand. The thorn rises from the axillary bud and it bears leaves. Okay, and the thorn also can be branched. This all difference between thorns and spine. It helps you to distinguish between them. And also another structure, there's another structure on the stem. It's pointed and also helps to defense the plant. It's called prickle. The prickle, you can find it at the rose plant. It developed from the epidermal, not from the woody tissue of the stem. It's just from the epidermal tissue, so it's outgrowth. Okay, you can find this one, prickle, in the roses plant. Now you need to know the thorn because it's a stem modification. Phylloclade. Okay, the phylloclade are fleshy in nature and are flattened or cylindrical branches. Can be flattened like this at the picture, or cylindrical at another picture I will show you. Okay, so it's a stem or branches, but they get modified to phylloclade, to be they get modified to be like leaves structure. The leaves transform, in this case, on this situation of phylloclade, the leaves transform to spine, as you see in the picture, or scales. They also regulate transpiration. Phylloclade take part in photosynthesis in stored water. Example for this you can find in the kinds of cactus. The species or some species of cactus, the phylloclade is stored water. But in generally, the phylloclade is take part or is taking part in a photosynthesis because it has a green color, so it get modified to help the plant to manufacture the food through the photosynthesis because it has a green color, and the leaves transform to spines as you see at the example below, and it also regulate the transpiration. So this is a phylloclade the example of the flattened phylloclade like Opiontia, in the picture, and for the cylindrical phylloclade like Molenbeekia plant. This one, Molenbeekia plant. So you can see the leaf spines, and there is a nodes and internodes, because it's a stem, so it has a nodes and internodes, several nodes and internodes. So the as I said to you, the leaves like Opiontia plant are transformed to spines, but also it can transform to scales like Molenbeekia plant. There is no spines, but they transform to scale leaf. Also we have cladophyles, or also known as cladodes. Okay, these flattened also or cylindrical branches help in a photosynthesis because it has a green color. We can find it in Ruscus because it has a green color, and it has leaves shape. Okay, there are two long internodes observed in Ruscus, wherein asparagus there is a one long internode is observed. So the cladophyles or the cladodes has 1 to 2 internodes, but in the phylloclade stem there is many nodes and internodes. Okay, so in Ruscus plant there are 2 long internodes observed, where in asparagus plant there is 1 long internode observed. It can be flattened or cylindrical branches. This is a Ruscus plant. So this leaves-like structure are a stem modified. So this is a claudette. Okay, this is not true leaves. It is a claudette. They get modified to be flattened and to be like the leaf structure to do the photosynthesis. And as you see, it has a flower bud. Here in the picture it's very clear. There is a flower bud, and also there is a fruits. It bears flowers and also fruits, because it's a stem, but it's claudettes. It's a modified stem called cladodes. Called cladodes. Okay. Another cladode like asparagus. This is asparagus. This is the stem, and I think you know this before. This example for a scale leaves I gave you before. As example for a stem has a scale leaves. Okay, this is a stem of the plant asparagus, and there you can see these leaves like structures are not true leaves. This is a cladode. It's modified stem. Okay, so it's cylindrical. It's not flattened, or it's not a flattened shape, but it's a cylindrical shape. Okay, it has a green color to do a photosynthesis, and also can bear fruits, and it has a flower bud to give fruits, and the fruits containing seeds. Okay, these two examples for cladode. So you can observe there is no several nodes and internode. In spiraeus there is just one internode, and in the previous example, Ruscus plant, there is two internodes. Okay, this all about the stem and stem types and stem modification. I hope all of these are clear, and also if anyone have any question, please contact me, and thank you very much.